Hello, welcome back to another fantasy football video. Hoping everyone's doing fantastically well. Back again with some more Euros action, and we are heading into the round of 16, and that means we get unlimited transfers heading into this round. That I personally have already used my limitless wildcard and my normal wildcard, so not only am I going to be having to think about the kind of first round of 16 fixtures, but basically until the end of the tournament, what teams am I going to be backing? Today, I'm just making a kind of quick first draft, first thoughts ahead of the round of 16. We do only have a couple of days to draft these teams, but I do expect a few things to change. If you are new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Getting so close to that 1K now. Hit the like button if you do enjoy the video. Let's get straight on into this one. So, this is how my team looked previously, wildcarding in game week or match day 3 as it were. A lot of changes to be made to this team, and we do get an extra 5 mil on our budget, so a bit more maneuverability and a few more expensive players can be brought in. And talking of expensive players, I think my strategy is going to be go big up front. I think I'm going to go for 3 premium attackers. It just means as well, if any of the premium attackers that you do kind of put in there get knocked out, it's very easy to then move them to another premium attacker. So I think first and foremost, I'm going to be going for Kylian Mbappe for France. Now, he hasn't actually got an attacking return yet, surprisingly so for France. He's just played in each game. He's got penalties earned. So if you want to consider that as an attacking return, I guess you can. But overall, so far from Mbappe, we've not seen an actual kind of assist or goal, and I do think in this game, it's potentially his time to shine against Switzerland. And also, I do think that, France, obviously, going to this tournament as favourites, are very likely to get through to the next round. And so just for, I guess, longevity purposes, getting in some French players is definitely not a bad idea. Now, in terms of the other 2 attacking spots, kind of similarly to Mbappe, I'm going with another kind of a big boy, and that is Romelu Lukaku. Now, Belgium do play against Portugal, and I think that'll be a very interesting game, the outcome of that one. Now, I do kind of back Belgium to win it. Portugal, they've looked a little topsy-turvy in this tournament. Obviously, they had quite a resounding victory against Hungary, 3-0, although they did only manage to get that in the last kind of 5 minutes of the game. They then went and lost 4-2 to Germany, which, shows they can concede a lot of goals, and hopefully Lukaku can get scoring some as well. And they also conceded 2 goals, drawing 2-2 to France. So Portugal were definitely leaking goals, and I think Lukaku, he seems on some quite inspired form in this tournament, really looking for those goals, hunting potentially for that golden boot, and so I am going to back Belgium to win this one. In terms of the third attacking spot, and basically for the rest of the team, I think I'm going to be backing the Dutch boys quite heavily. So I think Memphis Depay goes in there for me. Playing against the Czech Republic in this round, then if they win that game, which you think would be the more likely outcome, would be for the Dutch to go through that game, then they would either play against Denmark and Wales, and you probably back them against either of those teams, and then they're into a semi-final. So I think for me, I'm going to be going with the Dutch boys, going for Gini Wijnaldum there in the midfield as well. And I'm going to fill it out with a Dutch defender, Dumfries, currently the highest scoring defender actually in the game. He just bombs down that right-hand wing, has got 2 attacking outputs so far, 2 goals, in fact, and a penalty 1. So yeah, he's been absolutely smashing it so far this tournament. I think the triple up of the Dutch boys isn't actually, it's a reasonably priced one. It's not super premium, but it's also not super cheap. Dumfries comes in at a standard sort of 5.6 mil. Wijnaldum, sort of that mid to premium range of 8.1, and Depay on the more premium, but not completely premium, 10.1. Now, in terms of the rest of the midfield, I think I'm going to be going with a couple of punts and a couple of what I think are pretty solid picks. In terms of the solid pick, I think for me, just value-wise as well, Berardi and just the Italians offer some really good value in my opinion. Now, Berardi comes in at 6.2 million, and I don't think you're going to find a better midfielder for a better price, to be honest with you. 6.2 million, he's got himself a few assists already, and hopefully that attacking output is going to continue. Then in terms of the rest of the midfield, I think I'm looking at kind of fixtures. I'm looking at players maybe a little bit outside the box and players who've maybe recently hit some form. So, firstly, I guess one that's a little bit outside the box, I think, is Palace Sarabia for Spain. 6.5 million. I think he offers some good value. Got a 14 pointer in the last match, on the third match day of the group stage. After kind of not starting the first two games, I think he's almost, he's shown to the manager, look, you have to play me now, and I do think Sarabia will play for Spain against Croatia. That game is actually quite a hard one to call, because obviously Croatia haven't looked kind of, resounding in the group stages, but Spain looks pretty poor as well, to be honest. They've had a couple of draws in there against Poland, against Sweden. They obviously went and had that absolute resounding victory against Slovakia, but Slovakia, after about 2 or 3 goals, it just completely capitulated for them. But I do think that Sarabia at 6.5 million offers some good value, and it's a decent little punt at that price as well. In terms of the next kind of midfield player in this team, I'm going to be going for Forsberg. He has picked up 23 points so far in this tournament. He's actually gone and got himself. I'm pretty sure he's on penalties for Sweden as well, and just the way he kind of positions himself in the midfield, he is their main kind of attacking outlet apart from Isaac. So I do think that Forsberg comes in at 7.7 million, offering some really, really good value, playing against Ukraine. It's a tough one to call that, because Ukraine literally have just slipped through the group stages into the final, or into the round of 16. They probably didn't think that they were going to end up getting through, but they've just about managed to do so. And so Forsberg, I think, playing against Ukraine, stands a good chance of knocking in a goal there. Now, in terms of the final midfield spot, now this is a very, very punty one. I'm kind of looking around the kind of midfield area, and I know from kind of making the team that I've got around 7 million to fill this spot. Now, Xherdan Shaqiri does kind of come to mind, but if I am backing France, then I don't think that Shaqiri, although he might score, he could potentially score, but I don't think he'll be getting through to the next round, and I do definitely have to be thinking about that. I'm actually going to back one of the Welsh boys, Dan James, coming in at 6.5 million. If I could afford Ramsey or Bale, I probably would go for those. But the stage is set for Wales, and Dan James hasn't really done much so far this tournament, and he has actually been looking quite good as well. So potentially he could go and grab himself a goal. Now, in terms of the defence, I have mentioned Italy so far, and yeah, their defence has looked very, very, very solid so far in this tournament. One man especially, Spinazzola, I think will be in most people's team. The way he was bombing down that wing in those first 2 games was absolutely electric, so he could easily go and get himself some more attacking returns. And I think in goal, I'm just going to be going with the safe pick of Donnarumma. He's picked himself up 6 points so far, and you would think against Austria that Italy probably will get that result over the line. They've looked pretty comfortable in the group, some very, very good performances, and so Donnarumma, Spinazzola and Berardi are my kind of Italian outlets and options going into this match day 3. In terms of the rest of the defence, I'm actually going to be going with an English defender. Now, maybe there's a little bit of bias, but Italy and England are the only teams not to have conceded so far in the tournament. So I think kind of going off of that, I do back that England can potentially keep a clean sheet against Germany. I'm going with Harry Maguire, probably one of the higher attacking outputs. The ball he played through to Kane in that Czech Republic game, Kane realistically should have scored, and obviously Maguire's got that attacking threat as well from corners, so I do like the look of kind of Harry Maguire going into this round of 16. Then we've got 3 players left to fill. In terms of the second goalkeeper, I think I'm going to be going with the Spanish man, Simon, so I can just recover him there. I think he's a decent little option at 5 million. I do expect Spain to potentially get through to the next round, so it kind of gives me that kind of, or that foresight of I will have a player going through. I could maybe go for Stecklenburg, although I don't particularly want to go for the kind of quadruple up on one team just yet, already having kind of 3 Dutch players. And in terms of the final spot, or in terms of the final 2 spots, we do have Kimpembe for France. The French defence, it's been a little bit shaky. But as I say, just because I do think that France are going to make it a decent way through the tournament, I think that I need to be I need to be thinking about this. And Kimpembe, I think, offers probably the best value out of the French defence, coming in at 5.6 million. Varane 6.1, Hernandez is 6.6. Although Hernandez, now that Digne is injured, will very likely see a lot. He won't be getting subbed up at half time. He'll be playing full 90 minutes in each game, and he's got that attacking output. But for 1 mil less and just being able to kind of generally build a team, I think Kimpembe for me comes in at potentially the best option. Although, I might be able to potentially get Varane in there as well. I think finally for me, the other defender that I'm going to be going for is the Denmark or the Danish player Mechle, as I do think that he offers some real threat down that left hand side. He absolutely bombs down that wing, managed to score that goal in the last game of matchday 3 for the Danes, and yeah, for me, he looks good. Now, you may be thinking, you've got Dan James and Mechle, but just because I actually can't call that game, I quite like that I have that combination of those two, because it means that I will at least have one player sort of guaranteed to go through to the next round. If Dan James scores, great. If Mechle keeps a clean sheet, also great. I guess the worst thing would be if, someone like Bale ends up going and scoring and Mechle gets nothing and Dan James gets nothing. But then at least, I have another player through to the next round. So this is kind of how the team is lining up at the minute. I do have 0.8 mil in the bank, so I'm definitely going to be doing a little bit more tinkering, whether I can upgrade, as I say, the likes of Kimpembe to maybe the likes of Varane. If I can find the money to potentially go to the likes of Lucas Hernandez as well, I might be looking at that. But as I say, I've kind of got to be looking a bit long term as well as short term. So I say my short term is more the likes of Forsberg, probably the likes of Sarabia as well. Just a couple of cheeky little punts in there I think could do okay. If you have enjoyed this quick little look ahead to the round of 16, I'm absolutely buzzing for it, to be honest with you. Starts on Saturday, 5 p.m. With Wales versus Denmark. It's kind of why I like having those guys in there as well, because you just have that option straight away to dive straight into the action. But if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.